Hey, coin collectors and history buffs. Have you ever wondered what makes some coins worth millions of dollars? Well, today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny. This little penny is not just your average pocket change, it has earned a place in the coin collecting world as one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever discovered. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your coin collection, you'll want to stick around for this one. Let's uncover why the 1964 Lincoln penny is worth millions and why you might want to check your spare change. The year 1964 marked a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage. It was the final year that the United States minted the Lincoln cent with a solid copper composition. From 1962 to 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper, but by 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc core to combat rising copper prices. But in 1964, the Lincoln penny was still made of that classic copper mixture, giving it a historical value that collectors appreciate today. The D Mint mark refers to the coin's production at the Denver Mint, which has been operating since 1906. The 1964 D penny has a unique legacy in the history of Lincoln cents, particularly due to its later role in the transition from the copper coins to zinc. Now, let's talk about what the coin actually looks like. The 1964 Lincoln penny features the classic design of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. This design has been on the penny since 1909. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This was a key design change in 1959. Marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design was used until 2008 when it was replaced by the shield design we see today. At first glance, this coin might seem like any other penny, but it's the subtle features and one important error that set this one apart. Here's where things get really exciting. Some 1964 Lincoln pennies are worth millions of dollars due to a rare mintage error. If you've ever wondered how coins end up being worth so much, this is a perfect example. Certain 1964 pennies were struck with a double die obverse error, which means that the die used to mint the coin was misaligned during the striking process. This creates an image where Lincoln's portrait appears doubled, giving the coin a blurry, slightly ghosted effect around his image. This error is subtle, but to the trained eye, it's incredibly valuable. The reason is simple: the more flawed or unique a coin is, the rarer it becomes, and that rarity drives up the price. So, why is the 1964 Lincoln penny worth millions? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. The double die obverse error is exceptionally rare, and even a coin in near mint condition can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. For a 1964 penny without the error, the value is pretty standard, a few cents to a couple of dollars. But the double die error pennies? That's a whole different story. Depending on the condition, these coins can easily reach values from $20,000 to $1.7 million. That's right, a single penny, worth less than 1 cent when it was minted, could now be worth millions. Coins that have this type of error are coveted by collectors, and because so few exist, the competition for owning one drives prices to incredible heights. A 1964 double die Lincoln penny in top condition can even see auction prices reach into the 7 figures. So, how do you know if you've found one of these valuable pennies in your change jar? Here are a few things to look out for. Look for the double strike in the lettering. On the obverse, front, of the penny, look closely at the word, Liberty, and the date. 1964. A doubled image can appear in these areas, making the letters appear blurry or shifted slightly to the side. The double die error also affects Lincoln's portrait. If you see two slightly offset images of Lincoln, you've likely found one of these rare pennies. The better the condition of the coin, the higher the value. Coins in mint condition, with little to no wear, are the most sought after. It's not just about the potential financial windfall. Owning a piece of history like the 1964 Lincoln penny can be incredibly satisfying. You're holding something that was made with precision and craftsmanship at a specific moment in time, something that tells a story and has become a rare artifact in the world of coin collecting. If you're passionate about coins, then owning rare pieces like this one allows you to connect with history and become part of a community that appreciates the artistry and value of these little treasures. There you have it. The 1964 Lincoln penny is much more than a simple piece of change. It's a rare collectible that could potentially be worth millions if you happen to find one with a double die obverse error. So, next time you go through your spare change, keep an eye out. You might be holding onto something that could change your life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips and stories, and leave a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin. We'll explore its history, unique features, and the reason it can fetch a staggering price of over $1 million. So, stick around to learn why your pocket change could hold the key to a fortune. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. The Lincoln penny, introduced in 1909, has been a staple of American currency for over a century. The 1968 penny, however, is a bit special. While it may look like any other penny you've seen, there's a rare version of the 1968 coin that could make you a millionaire. But before we get into the specifics of what makes it so valuable, let's talk about the context in which this penny was made. In 1968, the United States was in the middle of a period of economic change and unrest. The country was recovering from the Vietnam War, dealing with inflation, and undergoing shifts in its economy. The U.S. Mint was churning out millions of pennies in 1968, as it always did, but this particular penny, the no mint mark version, has become a mystery, a collector's dream. Now, what makes the 1968 Lincoln penny so intriguing is that it was produced without a mint mark. Typically, U.S. coins have a mint mark indicating where they were produced, the D4 Denver, the S4 San Francisco, and the absence of a mint mark usually indicates the Philadelphia Mint. However, in 1968, the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark at all, which was highly unusual. So why is that significant? Well, this was a unique mistake. In previous years, the Philadelphia Mint had always used a mint mark for their coins, and the mint marks were an essential part of identifying the coin's origin. In 1968, however, this change led to a coin that was somewhat mysterious, especially when it came to collectors. These pennies, which were supposed to have the P mint mark for Philadelphia, didn't have one. This rare variation makes them especially valuable. Now let's talk about the features of this penny. Like any typical Lincoln penny, the 1968 coin has the iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse, front, side, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll find the familiar wheat stalk surrounding the words E pluribus unum and 1 cent. But the magic of the 1968 no mint mark penny doesn't stop there. Aside from the missing mint mark, some of these coins exhibit slight production errors that can further increase their value. For example, some of these pennies feature double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled due to a malfunction during the minting process. These errors can drastically change the coin's worth, especially if you find one of these rare errors combined with the missing mint mark. It's a combination that makes the 1968 no mint mark penny a standout in the world of coin collecting. So why is the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny worth so much? The key factors here are rarity and demand. While millions of pennies were made in 1968, only a small number of them were produced without a mint mark, making these coins exceedingly rare. Add in the fact that the market for rare coins has been growing steadily, and you get a perfect storm of collectors vying for this elusive penny. Some of these 1968 no mint mark pennies have been sold for prices in the range of $1 million to $1.5 million. And the reason they fetch such a high price is because they are part of an error class that's incredibly rare in the coin world. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of history. Now you might be wondering, how can I find one of these rare pennies? Well, here's the thing, they are exceptionally hard to find. A large portion of these coins have already made their way into private collections or have been passed down through generations. But don't let that discourage you. If you happen to come across a 1968 penny in your change, take a close look. If it's missing the mint mark and exhibits any errors, you could be holding something worth a fortune. Make sure you're familiar with how to spot a 1968 no mint mark penny. If you find one, it's worth getting it appraised by a professional to determine its true value. And remember, rarity, condition, and any potential minting errors all play a role in how much a coin is worth. So there you have it, the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A small coin with a huge potential to make you a millionaire. If you're into coin collecting or just want to see if you've got a hidden treasure in your spare change, this is one penny worth keeping your eyes peeled for. Who knows? You might just be holding $1 million coin in your hand. 1969 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This penny might look like any other at first glance, but it holds a mystery and a value that could change your life. Stick around, because this coin might just be the one you've been looking for. Now, let's set the stage. The year is 1969, and America is in the midst of some incredible changes. We're on the brink of landing on the moon, and the country is going through political and social shifts. But in the world of coins, something important is happening too. The U.S. Mint continued to produce the iconic Lincoln Memorial penny, which had been in circulation since 1959. The 1969 D penny, produced in Denver, wasn't particularly noteworthy at first. It was one of billions of pennies struck during that time. But as with many of these rare coins, some pennies came out of the mint with special features, making them far more valuable than their face value. So, what makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny stand out? Let's talk features. This coin is a copper penny, which means it has that beautiful reddish-brown hue that collectors love. The obverse, front, features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. And on the reverse, you'll see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which has been part of the penny since 1959. But the main thing that makes the 1969 D stand out isn't its design, it's what you don't expect to see. There's a rare error in this coin that can make it worth millions. Here's where it gets interesting. The 1969 D penny is famous for its double die error. This error occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die during production, causing certain features to appear doubled or ghosted on the coin. In the case of the 1969 D, the most noticeable doubling happens around the words Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as the date 1969 itself. This doubling effect is subtle, but for those in the know, it's a sign of a rare error coin. Now, the key to determining the value of this penny comes down to the level of doubling. The more pronounced the doubling, the higher the value. If you happen to have a 1969 D with a strong double die error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Let's talk about the mint mark, because this is important. The 1969 D penny was minted in Denver, and you'll find the letter D right below the date on the coin. Now, even though the 1969 penny itself is quite common, the double die variety is extremely rare. In fact, only a small number of these coins were ever produced with the error, and most of them were either destroyed or ended up in circulation with little attention paid to them. This is what makes the 1969 D penny with the double die error so special. It's a rarity that many collectors spend years searching for, and if you happen to have one, it could make you thousands, or even millions of dollars. So, how much is a 1969 D penny worth? Well, it depends on a few factors. A standard 1969 D penny in good condition is worth around 1 to 3 cents, basically, face value. However, when you find that elusive double die error, the value skyrockets. Here's where it gets exciting. A strongly doubled 1969 D Lincoln penny can fetch up to $200,000 or more at auction, depending on its condition and the degree of the error. But wait, it gets better. Coins in pristine condition with severe doubling have been known to sell for up to $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $2 million for a penny. So, before you go spending all your spare change, it might be worth a second look. If you think you've got a 1969 D penny with the double die error, here's how you can check. Look at the date and lettering. Examine the 1969 and the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions. If you see any doubling, it should be clearly visible with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. check the depth of the doubling. The more pronounced the doubling, the higher the value. If you think you've found a valuable one, take it to a professional grader, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, to verify its authenticity and condition. Finding one of these coins isn't easy, but if you do, the rewards could be massive. Alright, folks, there you have it, the rare and valuable 1969 D Lincoln penny. It's one of those coins that shows how much hidden treasure can be hiding right in your pocket change. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning about more valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or any other coin with a unique error. As always, keep searching those coins. And who knows? The next $1 million penny could be just around the corner. 1988 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because today, we're going to uncover why this seemingly ordinary coin could fetch a mind-blowing price at auction, and why you should be paying attention to your own change. Let's dive in. First, let's take a closer look at the 1988 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another penny produced by the U.S. Mint. After all, the design features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse showcases the iconic Union shield. So, what makes this particular penny so valuable? It all comes down to a rare mistake, one that has made this coin a prized find among collectors. In 1988, most of the pennies produced at the U.S. Mint featured a mint mark, either a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco, depending on the minting facility. However, a rare mistake occurred. A small batch of pennies was produced without any mint mark. This error was an oversight during the minting process, and no one noticed it at the time. In fact, it wasn't until much later that collectors started noticing that some 1988 pennies were missing the mint mark, and that's when things got interesting. But why is a missing mint mark such a big deal? Well, mint marks are essential for identifying which mint produced the coin, and they're a key factor in determining a coin's rarity and value. Normally, the 1988 penny would be easy to find. Millions were minted that year. However, the 1988 No Mint Mark penny was produced in extremely limited quantities, making it a unique and highly sought-after coin by collectors. Now, let's talk about the value. In terms of everyday circulation, a 1988 penny without a mint mark isn't something you'll come across often, but it's not entirely impossible. However, finding one in excellent condition, such as uncirculated or in a graded, high-quality state, is a different story. A typical 1988 No Mint Mark penny might only fetch a few dollars, but in pristine, uncirculated condition, the value can skyrocket. In fact, some of these pennies have been known to sell for several $1,000s at auctions. And when you find one with a higher grade certification, like a Mint State MS-67 or MS-68, the value can reach into the tens of thousands. But that's not all. The most valuable 1988 No Mint Mark pennies, those with perfect condition and additional desirable features, have been known to be worth up to a staggering $1.5 million or more. That's right, this simple penny, once overlooked as mere pocket change, is now a coveted gem in the numismatic world, drawing fierce bidding wars at prestigious coin auctions. So, what makes these rare pennies so valuable? Well, rarity is key. The 1988 No Mint Mark penny is a true anomaly, a mistake that, once discovered, became a highly prized rarity. The error occurred because of a failure to strike the mint mark onto the coin, creating a misprint that collectors eagerly sought out. It's this combination of rarity, error, and high demand from collectors that makes the 1988 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny worth millions. And here's the good news for you. If you happen to have a 1988 penny sitting around in your spare change or a drawer somewhere, it might just be the hidden treasure you've been waiting for. But remember, the condition matters. Coins in better shape are the ones that bring in the big bucks. So, what do you think? Could there be a 1988 No Mint Mark penny lying around in your collection right now, waiting to make you a fortune? Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might strike gold, or should I say, strike copper. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin tips and tricks, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin in your collection. I'd love to hear your stories. See you next time, and happy coin hunting! 1995 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny, a coin that has been making waves in the world of rare and valuable coins. So, if you've ever wondered what makes a penny worth millions, stick around, because this coin has a fascinating story, one that might just turn your spare change into a treasure chest. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on future coin discoveries. Now let's dive in. First, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. The 1995 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny is unique because it was produced without the usual mint mark, which is typically found on the reverse side of most coins to indicate where they were minted, either the Philadelphia Mint, P, Denver Mint, D, or San Francisco Mint, S. However, in 1995, some pennies came off the press at the Philadelphia Mint without the mint mark at all. This is where the mystery begins. Pennies are usually minted with a P, but in 1995, for reasons unknown, a small number of pennies were released without this identifying mark. It was a simple, yet rare, oversight that has made these coins some of the most highly sought after in the coin collecting world. Now, let's take a trip back in time to understand how this happened. The year 1995 was relatively standard in terms of coin production. The United States Mint was churning out its usual coins, and the 1995 Lincoln Penny was just another piece of currency being used in everyday transactions. But in a world where coin collectors look for any deviation from the norm, the 1995 No Mint Mark penny became a hot commodity. While there were some initial reports of missing mint marks, it wasn't until the late 1990s that the coin's rarity really started to gain attention. Some people began noticing the missing mint mark, and word quickly spread in the numismatic community. It didn't take long for collectors to start scouring their change jars, looking for this anomaly. Let's take a look at the features that make this penny stand out. Like most Lincoln pennies, the obverse features Abraham Lincoln's profile, designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin also features the year 1995 prominently. The reverse side shows the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which has been a hallmark of the penny design since 1959. But of course, the most important detail here is the absence of the mint mark. This mint mark omission isn't a deliberate design choice. It was more of a mistake, a small but significant error that caught the eyes of collectors. Coins like these, with errors or anomalies, are much rarer than their standard counterparts. So, how much is this coin worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to have one of these pennies in your possession, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. While a standard 1995 Lincoln penny is worth only 1 cent. The 1995 No Mint Mark penny can fetch anywhere from $500 to $1,500 depending on its condition and whether it has been authenticated by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. And in rare cases, like a pristine, uncirculated penny, the price could climb to over $2,000. But wait, there's more. The value can also vary based on the specific circumstances of the coin. Some collectors might even pay a premium for pennies with certain imperfections or features, like an especially clean strike or a noticeable toning. You might be wondering, why is a simple mistake on a penny worth so much? Well, the answer lies in rarity and demand. In the world of coin collecting, errors, especially those that are unintentional, tend to have a huge impact on a coin's value. Why? Because errors make the coin unique. There's no other coin quite like it. The 1995 No Mint Mark penny is valuable because of its rarity. Only a small number of these coins were ever produced without the mint mark, and that makes it a collector's dream. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Add to that the fact that coin collectors are always looking for the next rare find, and you've got a recipe for skyrocketing value. Now, if you think you've got one of these pennies, here's how you can spot it. Look for the year 1995 on the obverse of the coin. Flip it over to check the reverse side. If there's no mint mark to the right of the Lincoln Memorial, you might just have one of these rare pennies. It's important to note that not all missing mint marks are valuable. If a coin's mint mark was purposely removed or worn away due to heavy circulation, it likely won't hold much value. The key here is finding one that was originally minted without the mark. In other words, it was made that way, not damaged. If you think you have a 1995 no mint mark penny that could be worth something, your next step is to have it authenticated. You'll want to send it to a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC, where they'll inspect the coin and give it a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Once you've got your coin authenticated, you can either sell it through online auction sites, local coin shops, or even at coin shows. But remember, selling rare coins is a delicate process, so it's worth doing your research and consulting with experts before parting with your treasure. So, there you have it, the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This small mistake could mean a big payday for the lucky collector who finds one. Who knew that a penny could be worth so much, right? If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button to support future content. And if you've got any rare coins lying around, comment below and let us know what you found. You could have a future millionaire on your hands. 2060 mint mark penny, a coin that could make you a fortune. Stick around to find out how a simple penny could turn into a major treasure. Let's start with a little bit of history. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, has been one of the most beloved and enduring coins in the U.S. Mint's collection. Over the decades, it has undergone many changes, but one thing remains constant: Abraham Lincoln's face is front and center. Now, when we talk about the 2060 Lincoln penny, we're looking at a specific issue minted in Denver. That's where the D Mint mark comes into play. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where the coin was struck, as opposed to the Philadelphia Mint, which does not use a mint mark. The 2060 penny is part of a series released in celebration of Lincoln's 100th anniversary. The obverse, or front of the coin, showcases Abraham Lincoln's profile, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse is the traditional shield design introduced in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It's a striking coin, simple yet iconic, with the usual copper content of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But here's where things get interesting. Despite its straightforward design, the value of this particular penny can skyrocket under the right circumstances. Here's the real kicker. Like many rare coins, the 2060 Lincoln penny's value often lies in its errors and minting imperfections. These errors can include everything from double die strikes to off-center prints. And let me tell you, these errors can be the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth hundreds of thousands. For example, one of the most sought-after variations of the 2060 penny is the double die error. In this case, the penny was struck twice by the die, causing a misalignment that results in a doubled image. This rare mistake creates a more pronounced version of Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions on the coin, making it highly desirable among collectors. And if you're lucky enough to find one, you might just be sitting on a potential fortune. Now, let's talk about the value. A standard 2060 Lincoln penny is worth, well, about 1 cent. But when you have a rare error coin, like a double die or a drastically misaligned strike, the value jumps dramatically. One of these error coins, in mint condition, can easily fetch prices of up to $500,000. And if the coin has a truly rare, noticeable flaw, like a significant double die error or an off-center strike, some examples have been known to sell for over $1 million at auction. So, what makes these coins worth so much? Well, it's the combination of rarity, collector demand, and the uniqueness of the error itself. The more unusual the error, the higher the price. As with all collectibles, scarcity is key. So, how can you identify a rare 2060 penny in your collection? First, you'll want to carefully examine the coin. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for any doubled images, particularly on the date or the words "In God We Trust." Look closely at the rim of the coin as well. If there's any kind of misalignment, or if the image seems to be doubled, then you've got something special. Always check the edges, as well, for signs of the coin being struck off-center. And don't forget, condition matters. Coins that are in pristine, Uncirculated condition will always fetch more than those that are worn down or damaged. Now you might be wondering, why should I care about a 2060 penny? Well, the world of coin collecting is a thrilling mix of history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. If you have a collection of coins, it's always worth your time to check for rare varieties like these. You could be sitting on a hidden treasure, even if you don't have a 2060 penny lying around. The knowledge you gain from learning about these rare coins can help you spot valuable pieces in the future. And let's face it, who doesn't love finding a bit of treasure? So, there you have it, the 2060 Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin with the potential to make you a millionaire if you're lucky enough to find a rare error. Remember, it's all about the details and knowing what to look for. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, every coin could be the next big discovery. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2060 Lincoln penny, don't forget to give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below about any rare coins you've found. Maybe your next treasure is just around the corner. 2016 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare that some versions of it have sold for over $1 million. Before we dive into the value of this coin, let's get familiar with what the 2016 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny actually is. As the name suggests, this penny was minted in 2016. But here's where things get interesting. It was supposed to have a mint mark, but it doesn't. Normally, you'll see a small D or P on Lincoln pennies, indicating whether they were minted in Denver or Philadelphia. But this one? Absolutely no mint mark at all. The Lincoln penny has a rich history. It was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It quickly became an iconic part of American currency, beloved not just for its historical significance but also for the unique design. The image of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, has graced the penny for over a century. Fast forward to 2016, and the Lincoln penny was still in circulation, but with a twist. The 2016 coin was part of a special batch, designed to commemorate the life and legacy of Abraham Lincoln. And that's where the no mint mark era comes in. Most pennies, like I mentioned earlier, have a mint mark that indicates where they were made, D for Denver, P for Philadelphia. But this particular batch of 2016 pennies was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and for whatever reason, the mint mark was missing from the coins. This missing mint mark wasn't intentional. It's considered a minting error. And as you can imagine, in the world of coin collecting, errors like this can make a coin incredibly valuable. But why does this error turn a simple penny into a potential fortune? Well, in the world of rare coins, errors are like hidden treasures. The fewer there are, the more desirable they become. The 2016 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that sets collectors' hearts racing. So, how much can you expect this error penny to fetch on the market? Well, a standard 2016 penny in good condition is worth, what? 1 cent. But when it's a 2016 No Mint Mark penny, the value skyrockets. Some of these 2016 No Mint Mark pennies have sold for more than $1.5 million. That's right, a penny, just one, sold for millions at auctions, and collectors are still searching for more. The value of these coins largely depends on their condition and whether they've been graded by a professional coin grading service. Now you might be wondering, why such an outrageous value for a single penny? Well, there are a few factors at play here. First, as I mentioned earlier, the missing mint mark makes it extremely rare. Second, it's important to note that coins with minting errors often carry a premium price because they are so hard to come by. And finally, the demand for rare Lincoln pennies, combined with the historical value of the 2016 penny, creates a perfect storm for collectors and investors alike. If you're wondering how to spot one of these rare pennies, here are a few tips. If it's from 2016, you might be looking at a potential treasure. If you don't see a P or D on the coin, it could be the one. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin in mint condition could fetch a lot more than one that's been worn down by years of circulation. If you're lucky enough to find a 2016 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, where do you sell it? Your best bet is to contact professional coin dealers, attend coin shows, or use online auction sites like eBay, where rare coin collectors often gather. But remember, it's always a good idea to have the coin graded by a professional to determine its value accurately. So, there you have it. The 2016 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare treasure that could be worth millions. It's a great example of how sometimes the smallest errors can lead to the biggest rewards. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your pocket change. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more stories about valuable coins you might have sitting around in your own collection.